Elizondo! You get him, dude. Night at the Roxbury. Emilio!
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe it was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it's stretchy.
So, it's stretchy, yeah. It's a little stretch Armstrong,
Armstrong.
if you ask me. Nice. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Well done, well done. Here's the story and why I think there could be an ancient civilization on the moon. And I'll spin it for you quick. There was a program. It was adjacent to MK Ultra.
Right.
And it was this remote viewing program.
Project Stargate.
Stargate.
Yeah. Secret government experiments. Yeah.
We had a secret government experience as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's for a later episode. Okay. Part of Project Stargate, where they have remote viewers. This FBI agent wanted to get wise and be like, you know what? I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out for his... I think he's a fraud and a liar.
Okay.
He's like, I'm going to trip him up. He writes down these crazy coordinates.
Okay.
This FBI agent and gives it to him, or CIA agent, and gives them to him. And the guy looks at him, he's like, okay. And so he starts doing it, and he's like, all right. He's like, huh, this is odd. I see, maybe it's Egypt. I think there's a pyramid. All right, I'm going inside the pyramid. CIA agent's like, do you see people? Like, is there anybody there? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There's definitely life forms. And you can read the transcript on the CIA website.
That's cool.
And he's like, life forms. So there is people. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know how to explain them. They're like shadows almost. They're like very wispy. Ooh. They're very tall. And he's like, actually, I'm able to communicate with one. So right now we're inside of this structure.
Yeah.
And it's very tall. The person I'm dealing with is very tall as well. He said they're waiting. And he's like, what are they waiting for? And so he gives him a second. He's like asking him in his remote viewing world.
Right. It reminds me of 11, where she goes into that dark space. That's where it's
where
modeled
this came
off
from.
Of.
Yeah,
exactly. So for people just trying to visualize it.
Picture 11 going into a bathtub.
Right, exactly.
That sounded
when
weird.
she's in that black space
yeah.
and she's starting to see things as she's moving around. Yeah. That's probably what it's like for them.
Yeah,
so what are they waiting for?
So apparently there's food and whatever source they're relying on is scarce. Wherever they are can't sustain them much longer. So they're waiting for their fellow people to find somewhere better for them to relocate to.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting, right?
It's Jarrell.
Yeah. He keeps asking these questions and he's diving. He's getting all this information from him and he's trying to describe it. He's like, yeah, no, we're inside of this giant structure and it looks like a freaking pyramid. It's not Egypt because it's red and it's very empty and barren. CIA agent's losing his shit.
Yeah.
Because he wrote down coordinates and the time and date were to Mars 1 million BC.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's great.
And the reason he was able to communicate with that creature is because they communicate telepathically.
Dude, and there is corroboration for that story. So the Russians had the exact same program. What they were doing is training like housewives and stuff because they wanted to prove that anyone had the ability to do this. Yeah. There's files brought back. George Knapp brought back their actual files from the KGB when they were doing the same program. And they said that the collective conscious, which is how these extraterrestrials communicate, they said that once these people got good at these techniques and being able to join this collective consciousness to remote view, they would almost always meet an entity and be able to converse with it. Because you're right, that's how they would converse. And this guy was just spilling his guts about the whole program he oversaw to George Knapp. He got the files, he smuggled them out of Russia during a time where it was turmoil. He's an American smuggling stamp top secret government.
This is in the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Right?
Cold War era.
So he actually did get him out of the States, and he has the original copies, and he said he's even made copies and distributed them to people he trusts, just in case something happens to him or his file.
Yeah, it's a dead man's switch type of thing.
But, dude, they say the same thing, that at some point when you're good enough at this, your consciousness can reach out to other consciousness out there in the universe and speak to them.
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, amazing.
But that is my best evidence for why I think there could be something on the moon. Because why the not? They weren't just looking up the road for food sources and and a place to live. They clearly understood interstellar travel even back then. He also said like a cataclysm was about to happen.
That's interesting.
So they needed to relocate on the fly. You got to assume interstellar travel. They're looking for another planet to live on.
There's creepy stuff on Mars,
and
man.
Apparently Earth wasn't it.
Or maybe there was a reason they couldn't do Earth. Maybe it was already claimed or something like that. Maybe it was off limits.
Back then? You think?
Or even not. Maybe it just didn't have what they needed.
Look what they call it, though. They call it ones who sleep through storms. They sleep through storms because I told you the area was becoming uninhabitable.
Yep. They were trying to live through a
scarce through
cataclysm.
food. Yeah. In 1984, the CIA sent a psychic back in time to talk to Martians. Back in time, 1 million years BC.
That's
Dude,
cool.
what
And he doesn't know that up front.
Nope.
He's
he doesn't
just
know any
saying
of
what
it
he,
until after the fact.
what would be a normal response if you were faking it would be, I see a Russian submarine under the ocean near our borders or something like that, right? You wouldn't go, I see a pyramid and beings that don't make sense, and they're
Yeah.
telling me
You
that
wouldn't
they
say
need to leave the planet.
obscure-ass crazy.
'Cause
Yeah.
you're not expecting that. Why would they give you Mars? How does that help them? So
Yeah.
you wouldn't fake that.
I guess these are the coordinates. Just crazy. Just
Yeah.
crazy. Using the information in the envelope I provided. And this is the guy who's skeptic, the monitor,
Yeah.
as he's known. And then subject is the psychic. An oblique view of a pyramid or pyramid form. It's very high.
Have you seen the pictures?
It's kind of sitting in a large depressed area. Like he's trying to describe
Right.
seeing these pyramids
Yep.
on Mars.
Yep.
So he doesn't want to sound like a psychopath. And he's like, all right. And he's like, it's yellowish, ochre colored.
Yeah,
Like, dude,
right.
what am I looking at here? Yeah.
Dude, there's photos
Nuts.
of what look to be pyramids on Mars that we have, right? From our satellites taking pictures of Mars. I think the one that's been up there a while has sent back 7 million pictures from Mars already. That's so many pictures to sift through. There's pyramid-looking structures, and a lot of these theories about civilizations on Mars that have been long, extinct, come from some of these pictures. So that's not wild either. And this was way before we could take pictures of Mars. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Very cool, though.
So sick.
Yeah, it's very cool.
The CIA did a study with this guy. This was one of many tests. He was proven right 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
This was just his craziest test.
Yep.
And that's why it became such a story. What is the chat saying here?
So Jess added that I practiced remote viewing with Jared, and I didn't do bad at all. This is a true story. So one night we were just having fun being bored. What I would do is I would look up
having
coordinates.
fun being bored. All right, I like that.
Right?